There's a silent crisis affecting millions of men across this country right now. And I'm not talking about something you'll see on the evening news or read about in a trending article. I'm talking about something happening inside your body, quietly, gradually, and for most men, completely unnoticed until it's already disrupting your daily life. I'm Dr. Ava Remington, and I've spent over 20 years as a urologist right here in the United States, working with thousands of men who've sat across from me in my clinic, men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who all said the same thing. Doc, I thought this was just part of getting older. I thought I just had to live with it. And here's what breaks my heart every single time. They didn't. You don't either. Today, I'm going to share 5 daily habits that can protect your prostate, reduce inflammation, improve your urinary function, and honestly, give you your life back. These aren't pills. Sales. They're not procedures. They're not some expensive supplement I'm trying to sell you. This is real, evidence-based science that researchers and physicians across the country have been using to help men age with less discomfort, fewer complications, and a whole lot more freedom. Now, I want you to stick with me until the end, because one of these 5 habits is going to completely surprise you. And if you're a man over 60, or if you love someone who is a father, a husband, a grandfather, this might genuinely be one of the most important things you watch this year. Let's talk about what's actually going on with your prostate first, because understanding the problem is half the battle. Your prostate is a small gland, roughly the size of a walnut, sitting right below your bladder, wrapped around the urethra, which is the tube that carries urine out of your body. It plays a key role in male reproductive health by producing the fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. Up until around age 50, most men barely know their prostate exists. It just does its job quietly in the background. But starting in your 60s, that small gland begins to change, and not for the better. The medical term for this is benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, age-related prostate enlargement. Now, BPH isn't cancer. But don't let the word benign fool you, because it can seriously mess with your quality of life. According to the National Institutes of Health, more than 50% of men in their 50s already show signs of prostate enlargement. By age 70, that number jumps to over 80%. What does this actually look like in real day-to-day life? For most men, it starts subtle. A weaker stream when you urinate. A constant feeling like your bladder never fully empties. Difficulty getting started. And the one that really grinds people down. Waking up 2, 3, 4 times a night to use the bathroom, which wrecks your sleep and drains your energy the next day. Most guys just assume this is a normal part of aging, that they've got to grin and bear it. But that's a dangerous myth, and I'm here to tell you directly. New research is showing that prostate inflammation and enlargement can be significantly influenced and even improved through daily habits that regulate inflammation, hormones, and blood flow. You have more control over this than anyone ever told you. So let's get into it. The first habit is so simple, so completely overlooked that most men roll their eyes when I bring it up in my clinic. And then they come back 3 months later and tell me it changed everything. It's hydration, specifically how and when you drink water throughout the day. Proper hydration isn't just good for your health in some vague general sense. It plays a direct role in reducing prostate inflammation and improving urinary function. Here's the thing though, as we age, our sense of thirst actually decreases. It's really common for older men to go several hours without drinking anything, only reaching for water when dehydration has already set in. And when that happens, your urine becomes highly concentrated, loaded with acid and waste products that irritate your bladder and aggravate your prostate tissue. This pattern of poor hydration is one of the main drivers of nocturia. That's the medical term for waking up multiple times at night to urinate. It's one of the most frustrating and common symptoms of BPH, and a lot of guys don't realize their drinking habits are making it worse. But here's where the research gets really interesting. A study published in the Journal of Urology, involving over 2,000 men above the age of 60, found that well-distributed, early in the day hydration, combined with reducing liquid intake in the evening, led to a 41% reduction in nighttime urinary urgency and frequency. 41%. That's not a small number. So, what do I actually recommend? Think of hydration like a prescription. Drink water consistently from morning through early afternoon. Aim for about 6 to 8 glasses depending on your activity level and kidney health. Then gradually taper off your fluid intake after around 5 or 6 p.m. to give your bladder a chance to rest overnight. This small, routine-based adjustment reduces irritation, gently flushes toxins, and supports normal prostate function without stressing your body. Start there. Tonight, put a glass of water on your nightstand and fill it up tomorrow morning instead of reaching for coffee first thing. That's your first step. The second habit is completely free, requires no equipment, and you can start doing it literally after your next meal. I'm talking about a post-meal walk. A light 15-minute walk after eating, especially after lunch and dinner, can significantly influence prostate health in multiple ways. Research out of the University of Sao Paulo's medical school found that older men who engaged in movement after eating had up to 35% lower risk of developing moderate to severe BPH symptoms compared to men who stayed sedentary after meals. Now you might be wondering, what's actually happening in your body when you do this? Walking after eating activates blood flow in the pelvic region, improving oxygenation and nutrient delivery to the prostate gland. It also helps regulate blood sugar levels, which matters more than most people realize, because insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are directly linked to prostate problems. Light physical activity also reduces systemic inflammatory markers, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6, both of which are elevated in chronic prostate inflammation. Think of it like a post-meal prescription. You don't need a gym. You don't need to run. You don't even need to break a sweat. Just walk, slowly, steadily, indoors or outside, consistently. Over time, this small daily investment creates extraordinary protective effects for your prostate and your whole body. 15 minutes after lunch, 15 minutes after dinner. That's it. That's the habit. Now here's the habit that surprises most of my patients, the one I mentioned at the beginning that makes men shift in their seats a little when I bring it up in the clinic. And I need you to hear me on this one, because years of cultural stigma and embarrassment have buried this conversation. And that silence is actually costing men their health. Regular sexual activity matters for your prostate. A lot. From a purely medical standpoint, maintaining regular ejaculations is not just about physical pleasure or intimacy. It may be one of the most natural and effective ways your body has to flush out prostate waste. A landmark 2016 study published in European Urology by Harvard researchers followed over 30,000 men for 18 years. What they found was a genuinely striking correlation. Men who ejaculated 21 or more times per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those with lower monthly frequency. Biologically, ejaculation helps the prostate expel residual fluids, dead cells, and inflammatory proteins, substances that, when allowed to accumulate, can contribute to congestion, irritation, and over time, more serious problems. Beyond the cleansing effect, sexual activity also improves pelvic circulation, reduces tension in the muscles surrounding the prostate, supports hormonal balance, and lowers cortisol levels. And chronic stress and elevated cortisol are well-documented contributors to systemic inflammation. And yet, so many older men feel embarrassed or even guilty bringing this up with their doctor. So let me be crystal clear right now. You are never too old to prioritize your sexual health. It is a legitimate, science-backed component of prostate care. If you have concerns, physical, emotional, or relational, talk openly with your physician. Your urologist is there to help, not to judge. That's literally what we're here for. The fourth habit is where your daily decisions become powerful medicine. And this one, honestly, is where most Americans have the most room for improvement, because the standard American diet is actively working against your prostate. What you eat affects everything. Hormone regulation, inflammation levels, cellular health, and yes, even your risk of prostate cancer. So let's talk about what the research actually says. Start with lycopene. It's a phytonutrient found in tomatoes, guava, and watermelon. When tomatoes are cooked, especially with olive oil, lycopene becomes significantly more bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it much more effectively. A meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Cancer found that men who ate cooked tomatoes at least twice a week had a 28% reduced risk of developing prostate malignancies. That's a 2 servings a week habit that takes about 5 minutes to prepare. Then there's zinc. This is an essential mineral concentrated in pumpkin seeds, shellfish, and nuts. Zinc contributes to healthy testosterone balance, supports enzymatic reactions, and plays a role in the structural integrity of the prostate. If you're not getting enough zinc, your prostate is operating at a disadvantage. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts, offer yet another layer of protection. They contain sulforaphane, a compound known for influencing detoxification pathways and preventing the kind of DNA mutations and cellular damage that can lead to prostate cancer. These are the vegetables that, maybe weren't your favorites growing up in the Midwest, but your prostate really loves them. The ideal plate for men over 60 looks something like this, predominantly plant-based, colorful, fueled by lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats, rich in antioxidants. Cut back on processed meats, fried food, and excess alcohol, all of which promote inflammation. Think of your daily food choices not as a diet, but as a proactive form of self-care, an affordable, powerful way to support prostate resilience from the inside out. If you make one dietary change this week, cook some tomatoes with olive oil and throw a handful of pumpkin seeds on your salad. Simple, cheap, and backed by solid science. And now the fifth habit, the one that most men completely underestimate, and in my opinion, the one that could be the most impactful of all. Restorative sleep. I know. You've heard get more sleep 1,000 times. But I'm not talking about sleep as a lifestyle suggestion. I'm talking about sleep as medicine, because chronic sleep deprivation carries a biological cost that most people simply aren't aware of. Quality sleep regulates essential hormones, including melatonin and human growth hormone, both of which have well-documented anti-inflammatory roles and critical functions in tissue repair and immune regulation. A study published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention found that men who experienced frequent sleep disruption had twice the risk of developing advanced prostate cancer compared to men with uninterrupted sleep. Twice the risk. From a habit that most guys treat as optional. Sleep affects your testosterone levels. It affects inflammation. It affects your mental clarity, your metabolic balance, your emotional resilience. Everything that matters for prostate health runs through sleep. So here's what I tell my patients in practical terms. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. Sleep in a dark, cool, quiet room. Avoid caffeine after early afternoon. And yes, I know that afternoon coffee feels non-negotiable, but your prostate disagrees. Reduce screen time in the hour before bed and maintain a consistent bedtime even on weekends. Your body's circadian rhythm doesn't take a day off. This isn't indulgence. This isn't laziness. Prioritizing sleep is regenerative medicine for the aging male body, and it's completely free. Now let me bring these 5 habits together because here's the thing. Their power isn't just in each one individually. It's in the combination. Strategic hydration, a light walk after meals, regular sexual activity, targeted nutrition, restorative sleep. Each one of these addresses a different biological mechanism. Inflammation reduction, blood flow optimization, waste clearance, hormone regulation, immune support. Together, they create a comprehensive daily defense for your prostate that no single supplement, no single medication, no single procedure can replicate. I want to be honest with you, the way I'm honest with my patients. These habits aren't a cure. They're not a guarantee. If you have serious symptoms, pain, blood in your urine, inability to urinate, significant nighttime frequency, you need to see a physician. These habits work best as prevention and as supportive care alongside whatever your doctor recommends. But here's what I've seen over 20 years of clinical practice. The men who age with the most vitality, the most independence, the most quality of life in their 70s and 80s are the ones who took action preventively. They didn't wait for a crisis. They didn't wait for symptoms to get unbearable before making changes. They showed up for themselves early, and their bodies rewarded them for it. You have that same opportunity right now. Here's a simple 4-week plan to get you started, because I know that having a concrete roadmap makes the difference between that sounds good and actually doing it. In your first week, focus on foundations. Start drinking water strategically, 6 glasses before 4 p.m. Add a 15-minute walk after lunch, and start tracking your current sleep habits. Just observe. Write it down in your phone or grab a notebook. Awareness comes first. In week 2, start layering in the nutrition piece. Add cooked tomatoes to your meals twice that week. Throw a handful of pumpkin seeds into your breakfast or your salad. Start walking after dinner too, not just lunch. By the end of week 2, movement and hydration should already feel more natural. In week 3, focus on the things that require a little more intentionality. Have an honest, open conversation with your partner about your sexual health. Add cruciferous vegetables to at least one meal every day. And establish a real sleep routine. Same bedtime, screens off an hour before, room temperature, cool and dark. In week 4, consolidate and evaluate. Look at your sleep log. Notice how you feel compared to 4 weeks ago. Adjust the habits that aren't clicking yet. And if you haven't had a prostate checkup in the last year, schedule one. Not because I'm trying to scare you, but because catching anything early is always better than catching it late. Here's my final message to you, and I mean this genuinely, from someone who has sat with thousands of men over the course of her career. Taking care of your health doesn't have to start with pills, procedures, or panic. The most powerful medicine is often found in the small daily decisions you make, the ones that seem modest but compound into something remarkable over time. These 5 habits, practiced consistently, don't just protect your prostate. They improve your energy, they sharpen your sleep, they reduce your stress, they restore your confidence, they give you the kind of vitality that lets you actually show up for the people who matter most to you. If you're a man over 60, let today be your turning point. And if you love a man in this stage of life, encourage him. Share this with him. These conversations matter more than we make them out to be. Because what we don't know today, we could regret tomorrow. But what we choose to act on today could preserve our freedom, our vitality, and our quality of life for years to come. Your best years are not behind you. They're ahead of you, if you take care of yourself starting right now. I'm Dr. Ava Remington. If you found this helpful, please share it with the men in your life who need to hear it. Subscribe for more evidence-based medical guidance, and don't hesitate to leave your questions in the comments. I read them, and I do my best to respond. Stay informed, stay proactive, and above all, stay healthy. I'll see you in the next one.